What is up, everyone? Jordan Ezell here, and today I went to church for the first time in about 6 years, and the message that was conveyed to me was like so directly specific that it changed my mentality, honestly. And I knew I was going to get something from going to church because I knew I was going to get out of it what I put into it, and I'm putting my all into building myself to be the man that I want to be for my kids and their kids, and for my parents and their parents, to show them that anything you want to do truly is possible if you put everything into it. Because at the end of the day, you are the only person that knows if you're putting all your effort in. You are the only person that knows if you're putting 110% in or not. Even when somebody says good job and you know you left a little bit off the field, you left a little bit in the tank, you know that. And when they tell you, oh, good job, you put so much effort in, you're like, oh, thank you, thank you. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, what would they have said if I would have gave it my all? So, like I said in my first Momentum talk, my biggest fear is in 10 years asking myself, where would I be if I would have gave 110% every day into the things I was doing? That's my biggest fear. I don't want to have to ask myself that question because I want to put in 110% every day. So when I look around, I say, this is it. And I'm giving myself the tools every day to say, this is it. This is what success looks like to me. This is what my life looks like when I put everything on the line, when I take the risk every day, when I take everything out of my hands and lift my problems up to God, when I act like it's up to me and pray like it's up to God. This is what happens. So, a little backstory is yesterday was Saturday, and I was watching a John Mark Stevenson video, as I always do, and it was about how he brainwashed himself over the last 2 years to become the person that he is now, making $500,000 a month, doing something he loves, giving value to the world as the world gave him his value. And I was like, okay, he was reading through his journals, and I mean, I literally have the same journals. They're sitting right there. I have notebooks and notebooks just full of words, just small notebooks, big notebooks, journaling notebooks, graph paper notebooks, just full of all of my brain, all of my ideas. Maybe one day I'll sit down and I'll read through some of them and you'll understand what it truly, truly takes on a mental aspect of building a mindset, right? But today we're not going to do that. Today we're going to talk about how I went to church for the first time in 6 years, and it did something to me. And the reason why is because yesterday I wrote this down after watching that John Mark Stevenson video. I made a promise to myself, because if I can't make a promise to myself, how am I going to promise anyone on this earth anything, right? Does that make sense? I will make $155,000 before tax before the date of August 17th, 2025. I will give every morning starting at 4:25 a.m. to make sure I'm in the prime state to achieve. I will give my every night to reflect on the circumstances and obstacles put in my path by God to allow me to gain the necessary experience and skills to acquire my goals and surpass them. I will give every ounce of my being to my purpose at every hour of the day. I will give my Sundays to Christ and ask for forgiveness and guidance in return for my devotion to following his 10 commandments. I will answer every DM, post every YouTube video, story, and reel with congruency to my offer and my mission. I will knock on 150 doors a day for 6 days a week until August 16th, 2025, in the heat, rain, or snow to increase my statistics of success. I will take every moment to give as much value to others as the world has given me my value. And that is the promise I made to myself. And I signed off on it on the bottom, on the actual paper, on the actual notebook because I write it in my dashboard, my personal dashboard that allows me to, that my personal dashboard that I created to allow me to take control of every second of my day and make sure I'm putting enough effort into the things that make me who I want to be. And this week I'm gonna go into an in-depth explanation of how I formulated it, why it works, how I've been consistent with it for over 60 days without fail, right? But I made that promise to myself and I signed it because this is a promise I'm keeping to myself. I wrote down what I'm gonna do, how much money I'm gonna make. I wrote down the date that I'm gonna do it by. I wrote down the sacrifice that I'm gonna make. And I wrote down my plan to do it. And I wrote down why I will do it. And a lot of people, they make goals, but they don't make effort to make the sacrifice to get there. Everyone knows that nobody reaches success without sacrificing stuff. So why wouldn't you skip that part first and understand the things that you're giving up? See, it's just like I used to have a nicotine addiction, really, really bad, really, really bad, like something you've never seen before, right? And I stopped, and I didn't stop by cutting something out. I stopped by replacing it with something, right? So that effort, you see, what I tell people is you're disciplined. You're really, really disciplined. You're just disciplined in the wrong things, right? You may have heard that before. You're disciplined in the wrong things. So when you always have your nicotine, that's discipline. You're disciplined just in the wrong thing. So you have to make the sacrifice first, because you can't start adding stuff to your life because you only have 24 hours in a day. You can only replace things. So if you understand the sacrifice first, it's easy to just replace it. Just like I told somebody last week, they're struggling with a nicotine addiction. They were writing in their top 10 goals, like I advised them to do. And I mean, they said it's making a big difference in their life. And I can tell just from the outside, not even the words that they're telling me, like it is genuinely making an impact on their life. But they had on there, I will quit nicotine, right? I said, don't write, I will quit nicotine. Write, I will quit nicotine and replace it with X, right? I will quit nicotine by replacing it with X. So every time they think of nicotine, they write down every day that thing that they associate it with. So now, right, every time I want to hit my nicotine, I will replace nicotine with, I don't know, writing a note to my future self. Sorry, my battery saver thing came on. But write it, every time I think of nicotine, I'll write a note to my future self thanking them for staying strong on this journey. Or every time I want to hit nicotine, I'll drink a bottle of water, a whole bottle of water, right? You can only drink so many whole bottles of water. Promise, you'll think about your stomach hurting that you're so engorged with water before you think about hitting nicotine after your cravings get that bad, right? So, but long story short, I made this promise to myself, and I told myself last night, I am gonna go to church tomorrow, and I'm gonna ask God for direction. And when I got to church, they were, there was a band. It's your typical Christian experience. There's a band playing music, and the speaker gets up and they pull up a slideshow of something they've been going over for the last 3 or 4 weeks, which is about the same amount of time that I've been on this mission to find my direction, right? That's the same amount of time that I've been posting these videos, right? Like 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? Within the last month. And they said, this is the last day. So if you are here, you are getting the full experience with the lessons from all of the modules we went over. And the name was of the program was Divine Direction. And the whole time they were just going over all of the steps you have to take to find your divine direction. And when I tell you, they were literally the things that I've been doing this whole time. Literally this whole time. They said, devote your time to giving back to other people, because you don't find your direction by trying to be selfish, right? You have to be overly selfless to find direction, because you have to be as Jesus was, right? He gave back. You have to give back to the world as the world gives to you. And that's why I wrote, I will take every moment to give as much value to others as the world has given me value. And I did that. And I sat And I was thinking, oh my God. And there was another part. It was a story. I forget what scripture it was, but it was talking about how a man was fasting for 7 days, or fasting for 40 days for clarity. They said, fast for clarity. This is what he did in the Bible. He fasted for clarity, meditating on the needs of others, and put it into action. And God moved with him and allowed him to do more for other people. And I made a reel this morning talking about how I failed every single challenge that I put myself on before because I was doing it for myself. I literally said word for word in videos before I was who I was today. And I said, I'm not doing this for anybody else but me, right? And as soon as I changed that mentality of I'm not doing this for anybody but me to I'm doing this for everybody but myself, and I took the mentality of the more I help other people, the more they will help me, the path became so clear. The path became so easy, so smooth to just get in the rhythm of helping other people. And as I help others, they help me. Just like they say, as the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. As you help others, they will help you. It's a give and take. Just like you have to make the sacrifice and you have to make the replacement because it's a give and take. That is the balance. See, people try to make the balance be the mental state of what you're doing. You have to be balanced and be comfortable, but they're mistaking comfortability for balance. Balance should not be comfortable. Balance should be moving forward. When you're on a bike and you're trying your hardest, you're not comfortable exercising so hard and riding this bike, but you're balanced and you're moving forward. That is the important part. And last thing, this video is going on longer than I thought it would, but I wrote down my dream position. And this is a letter to my current self from my future self as who I am now, because I am this man inside. The time just hasn't caught up yet, right? I'm 20 years old. I've become sought after for my knowledge and experiences that I have thoughtfully and meticulously crafted into an offer that is unmatched in my space of giving young entrepreneurs aged 17 through 25 all of the tools, skills, and mindset to make growth so monumental that it would be a disservice to call it exponential. I have a team around the globe tasked with helping me with my creative vision of content creation of my personal brand. I bought my dream car, the Macchiato Brown 2027 Porsche GT3 RS Visic package with the painted wing and the glossy black magnesium forged wheels and the race tech seats with the dash cam package and the custom key holder and the custom floor mats and the front suspension package and the 7-way adjustable comfort seats and the performance exhaust. I travel to multiple countries every year and I have earned the luxury of flying private anywhere in the world. Money has become a mere distant afterthought of the decisions I make. I have achieved a physique that the 18-year-old version of myself would think is impossible. I bench 225 pounds for 15 reps. I squat 405 rounds for 8 reps. I can deadlift over 185 pounds. I still wake up at 4:25 every day and train to the point that those around me ask if I'm an NFL athlete or a movie star. I am able to invest in the ideas or dreams of those around me. My family has entirely changed culture and economic status. I am the man that brings my family together, and I started a legacy of generational wealth through the creation of living trusts, trust funds, and through the creation of living trusts and trust funds. I have reached the point where I can take my entire family on a vacation out of the country every year, and I own rental properties internationally that provide me with a steady income no matter what the economic state of a given country is. I have achieved all of this, and I still have the mindset of growth and abundance and preserved humility that God has given me. And I realize my efforts mean nothing if not to give the knowledge and experience and financial support to those on a level of life that have not yet surpassed mine. I have a very specific vision and a very specific destination. And if you are making goals and you don't know exactly the point in space and time that you want to be, you are destined for failure. Because when you don't have a path to follow or you don't know what path you're on, that doesn't mean, when you don't know what path you're on, that doesn't mean you don't have a plan. That means you're planned to fail. because you're moving forward in space and time. And if you don't know where you're going and you don't know how to manipulate the course of where you're going, you're going to end up in a place that you don't want to be, because you don't want to be somewhere that you didn't think you were going to be. Think about it. You want to have control of your life, and you can't have control over your life unless you know where your future is going to be. You can control the future. People think you can't control the future. You can control the future. But people don't realize that you have to control the future with the actions that you take today. Controlling the future starts with controlling your actions today. If you can't control your actions and live by calculated systems and focus and live in the moment, not by saying YOLO, but by saying, I am doing this now so that I can receive X, then if you can't do that, if you can't take calculated risk, then you'll never end up in that dream state. Because like I've said millions of times, repeated action is consistency, and repeated consistency is discipline. So the distance between where you are and where you want to be is just action. It's just action. So I might have wrote all of this plan out and it sounds good, cool, and you can do this same thing and write your plan out. That's good. That's good, cool. That's good, cool. But at the same time, you can't have these goals without understanding the fundamental basic fact that it's gonna take action, and you have to give 110% every day. You have to give 100% to be on the level as everyone else, and you have to give an extra 10% to catch up with the people that started before you. And that is how going to church for the first time in 6 years changed me, because it has allowed me to have the clarity, patience, and mental focus to sit here for 20 minutes and see my future so clearly that I can write such a detailed explanation that it sounds eloquent. If you can't eloquently and beautifully and articulately explain your goals and how you're going to get there and the things you're going to sacrifice to get there, and have a specific date, time, number, a specific, you want that dream car, but do you know how much it's going to cost, about to the penny? Do you know what color it's going to be? Okay, cool. You want to have properties. Do you know where they want to be? Do you know the address of the property that you want to buy? If you don't have clear, descriptive, overly ultra specific goals, you are going to end up in a place where you're not getting the things that you want, and you're not going to feel fulfilled, because they don't even have to be materialistic goals. But if you don't understand the depth of your goals down to the specific, down to a micron in space and time, you will end up in a place that is not where you think, because you can't end up in a place that you think about if you can't clearly think about it, right? So I go with this. I'll read this last sentence one last time, and I hope it sticks with you and changes your mindset, as somebody has changed my mindset. I will take every moment to give as much value to others as the world has given me my value. Just take that in. Everyone says that they're a high value person, but respect and understand the paradigm that has given you that value, and understand what you did to get that value. You don't become valuable by doing things for yourself. You become valuable by doing things for other people. So take that and think about it. And maybe grab a journal, and last thing, write down in that journal a question. Write down, why do I deserve the goals that I so badly crave? Why do I deserve them? And just answer that question. And when you get stumped, you'll realize what it really takes to know where you want to go and know how you're going to get there. And once you answer that question, DM me momentum.